World leaders to meet at the UN in New York. Heads of states and governments will attend a series of high-level annual meetings of the 78th UN General Assembly session in September. The tasks facing them are enormous. Massive floodings, wildfires, record high temperatures, the ongoing wars in Ukraine and Sudan, inflation and widespread poverty, and the 360 million people in need of humanitarian assistance. The UN General Assembly session will be held September 16 to 26. Under the theme Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity. Accelerating Action on the 2030 Agenda, and its Sustainable Development Goals. Towards peace, prosperity, progress and sustainability for all. A general debate will allow all leaders and representatives of the 193 UN member states to speak. The Sustainable Development Goals, Summit September the 18th to the 19th. The summit is convened every 4 years to review progress on implementing the 17 goals, a major enterprise adopted by the UN in 2015 and branded as a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and into the future. The UN said the summit is expected to work out a negotiated political declaration that will provide political guidance to speed up actions to meet the 2030 deadline. Anticipation is high that those leaders would adopt strategies to scale up efforts to complete the goals by the deadline. The goals include calls for the elimination of poverty, hunger, good health, and education for all. Observers said the current wars, high demands for humanitarian assistance as well as human rights violations are the hardest problems to solve in years, coming on the heels of the deadly, 3-year COVID-19 pandemic. During review meetings held in July this year, the UN said the SDGs are in peril because progress and efforts to achieve the goals have been eroded by climate disasters, the COVID pandemic, the Russian war in Ukraine and rising food prices. It called on governments to redouble efforts to achieve the goals or else they should expect greater political instability, upended economics leading to irreversible damage and hundreds of millions of people hungry and poor. The UN said if the current trends persist, by 2030, a staggering 575 million people will remain trapped in extreme poverty. And an estimated 84 million children and young people will still be out of school. There will be 3 high-level meetings focusing on health issues. The first one deals with pandemic prevention, preparedness and response on September 20th. In collaboration with the World Health Organization, the UN will call on heads of state and government to adopt a political declaration aimed at mobilizing political will at the national, regional and international levels for pandemic prevention, preparedness and response. The second meeting on September 21st will be on universal health coverage. And the third one on September 22nd will discuss the fight against tuberculosis. It will be under the theme, Advancing Science, Finance and Innovation, and their benefits, to urgently end the global tuberculosis epidemic, in particular, by ensuring equitable access to prevention, testing, treatment and care.